Hi there, welcome to Business Leadership Podcast. In this podcast, I interview successful business leaders and industry experts to help you grow your business. In this episode, my guest is a co-founder at STRATA Originals. He's a CEO at infinitycomm, and he's a past chair at the YPO Gold International. He's a personal brand expert, and he's a host of infinitycomm podcast. He's been helping business leaders to develop their personal brand to scale their companies. So given the current economic challenges, as a business leader, you need to stay relevant, scale your company, and compete in the market. Alan shared some of the insights that what business leaders are doing, what kind of initiatives they're taking on in order to grow their brand. He also talks about branding and marketing strategy to consider, and he also mentioned impact of a personal brand to grow your overall organization. And we also talk about his journey to grow his personal brand, some of the mistakes he made, and the lessons he learned over the time. If you find a value in this content, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Until next time, please welcome my guest, Alan McLaren. Hi guys, welcome to Business Leadership Podcast. Today my guest is Alan McLaren. Alan, you've been helping a lot of business leaders with the marketing. I'm a lifetime learner of marketing, and this is the first thing happened in a business. So I'm looking forward to our discussion. Thank you so much for your time today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Gurmeet.
So walk us through what are some of the challenges that business leaders are up against when they're trying to build the companies, they're trying to scale their companies. We just left, past COVID. What are some of the challenges you see that people are up against?
Well, the biggest challenge is the noise. There's so much noise out there with respect to marketing and messaging and all of the above. And now with the influx of all the opportunities with AI and how scared people are and not what to do. I mean, it's really about figuring out, what you're supposed to do, who you're supposed to talk to, and how you're supposed to do it. Basic marketing is pretty basic, right? Right time, right place, right message. But today there's so much noise and survival and what are we going to do and inflation, and people get hung up on all the news when they really should be focusing, at least in my view, on what's important, and that's treating your customers as well as you can and delighting them and finding them. Yeah.
Well, that is a challenge for I think everybody, and I'm dealing with the challenge as well. Social media made it even worse, I guess. And so many channels to distribute your messages, so I think that blurs the line a little bit. So many distractions. I think your point is right on that. Simply, when you have so many distractions, how do you focus on a message? What are you trying to communicate to people?
Absolutely. It's very difficult, but at the end of the day, you start thinking about social media specifically and anything digital. The simplest way is, fish where the fish are. I mean, it's the simplest message, right? But we hang up and we start to think, well, I have to be everywhere. Well, no, you don't. If your audience isn't on TikTok, why would you go on TikTok? They may be on TikTok in the future, very much like the evolution from Facebook to Instagram. Facebook was the dominant. They bought Instagram. It was only kids. It was only pictures. Now, folks my age and older are Instagram. So now you can migrate your messages to those platforms. So it's never about panicking. If you don't get there today, it's okay. You'll get there tomorrow. But they're all there and they're all wonderful platforms if you understand the algorithms, how they work, of course.
Yeah, you could be consumer of the content. It's very easy to get into consumer side of it, or you could be running a business off of it, running a business. So totally different mindset, but it's a very slippery slope. You could, it's a very entertaining though, social media, right? You could easily be tied up into consumer side where you're just watching reels, watching videos, watching all the content and not running it, managing as a business and getting the message out.
But I'll tell you the other part that I find fascinating. I'm a huge consumer of TikTok, but because I learned so much, I have been exposed to so much stuff. If we talk about AI as an example, and as you know, the algorithm kicks in, the more you watch something, the more it feeds you those kind of videos. So I'm getting, but it directly impacts my business. I found a new video tool. Boom. I tell the team, hey guys, check out this video tool. They test it, say this is phenomenal. So it has a direct line because you're getting exposed to things that we could never in our day learn at the speed we learn today. So I'm on it. I'm entertained. I laugh at the dog videos and the comedians, and I love golf and I love yoga. But boy, do I learn a lot. And I would encourage people, if you're not spending time, you should spend time, because you're going to just expand your mind quickly by being involved in social media on a regular basis as a consumer.
I see. So let's say business leader who are looking to, build, they have a great new idea. They want to build a company. It's 2023. what are some of the recommendations? Definitely they have to find what channel's gonna, where the customers are, right? So how would you go about building that? There's having fun on a TikTok is one thing, or any other channel, right? But then looking at a business goal, hey, I need to get to those business goals, whatever I'm trying to do. So how do they go about it? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it depends on a couple of things. So first of all, are you a B2B, B2C, B2B2C? Or today, where actually I go is something called H2H. I don't know if you've heard of H2H.
Human to human.
Human to human.
Yeah.
So no matter what you are today, you should have a human connecting with a human, especially with all the technologies happening today. But it comes back to really at the end of the day saying, where is my ideal client hanging out? It has to be social. It's always Google, Bing, or Yahoo. Someone's doing a search. So I'm a big believer in trying to capture people when they're looking for stuff. So, whether we call it SEO or content, I don't care what we call it. Someone's looking for you, make sure you're findable. Yeah. That's really it. That could be videos on YouTube, that could be on Instagram, Facebook, wherever your audience is. And what's really counterintuitive is you need to post more than you think you do. Like you might say, well, you post once a week. The algorithms don't like you.
Well, you post one a day, and 2 minutes later, that feed's gone to the bottom of the layer. Gone in the oceans. I think a lot of people don't understand how big that as platform is. Whether it's TikTok, whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn, it's just a big ocean. The moment you post something, 2 minutes it's gone to the bottom.
Now, here's the interesting thing, though, to build on what you said. There's two things that I'll talk about. One is, if we look at LinkedIn as an example, you may post it disappears. But if people have engaged with you often, then they're going to be seeing posts from a month ago or 2 months ago. I still get comments on posts that I did a month ago too, because I'm consistent. And the key is, as you and I have talked about before, to be consistent in social media, you have to do it all the time. And the algorithm likes you, and then the people like you. The other exception to that rule is YouTube. YouTube is a search engine and a social network. So people can search content. So if they're on Google and they type in technology companies, you want your video to show up on Google. That's because it's on YouTube. So those are exceptions to what I'll call more legacy content that can be very, very helpful as you build your business.
So you could post something in a YouTube and dissect it in many different ways and push it to whatever channel you want to push as a bites kind of content, and then still feed the purpose on a many different areas, right?
Well, this is an example. So we're doing a podcast. From here, you could have 30 pieces of content come out of this one hour exercise. And we do that all the time. And people say, how do you have so much content? I said, well, we do the work once and we edit a lot.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah, you can create it any shape or form. Every platform has different requirements. You can just push it out to all. So business leader who I'm talking to all the time, they always hesitant about the videos. I don't want to be on a video. I don't want to, I record a video or something. Can you still scale a company this day and age without a business owner or business leaders not being on a video?
Well, now you're getting into my very self-serving world. So as you know, I'm an expert in personal branding and personal branding in the context of business. Let's just think about why it's important. Then we'll talk about the fear that, by the way, every one of our clients, well, I'll say 90% of our clients face the fear of getting out there. But first, they have to have a compelling reason to do it. If they just think it's a reason, well, I'm just going to get out there and have some fun on video. No, think about this for a moment. If you're out there and you're the face of the business, you're the CEO, you help with recruiting because they say, geez, I like that person. He's really cool. I love the culture of that business. You want to raise capital? If your face is out there, it helps you raise capital. If you want to exit your business at some point, then having your face out there helps with that. If you want employee engagement, if you're good at it, your employees are so proud of the work you do. There's just 4 reasons. Oh, by the way, LinkedIn and Edelman did a study that 89% of people who experience thought leadership of CEOs have a really favorable view of that company. So there's 5 reasons why you should do it. It helps grow the business. The fear part, I would say, is this. The first time you walked into a gym, could you lift 200 pounds?
Yeah. No, not a way. No way.
So yeah, maybe you can never lift, but whatever it is, it's a question of time. You have doing video, doing speaking gigs is a skill. So the beautiful thing is you can take this device here or Zoom and practice until you're comfortable with this interaction here, this interaction you and I are having over video. You can do that, record really easy, and say, I'm going to try something for 2 minutes. You do it. I like that. And then send it to your family, send it to your friends, get an idea. Then they'll say, that really works well. Start playing and seeing the reation. And
maybe now send it to family.
Well, that's another story, right? Your wife going, Gurmeet, what are you doing out there? Don't put your name out there. Your beard is too gray. Alan, you got too much gray hair. It's all true, but that's
but I think your point is well taken. That's a great point you made, Alan. I know this is the reason I started a YouTube. When I started, I wanted to learn how to get better, because when COVID started, I simply said, listen, this is going to be communication in the future. I need to master this. I need to get better at it. I need to communicate with the people. And I also wanted to give back to, the business leaders. So I started. So if you look at my first couple of videos, I don't want to put on a YouTube. Those videos, I always want to delete them, and I just keep it there. But it's a consistency, what you just mentioned. That's a key. Good or bad content, keep putting it out. Yeah, definitely it can embarrass you sometime, but just putting that content out on a consistent way, I think that's where the growth comes from. And that's where you learn and you grow. Every discussion I have, I take away from discussion more than somebody else will. So I think that's where the growth comes from. But so consistently, I think that's a key. That's where the hard work comes in. But that's how you learn, no matter what the skill set is.
But also think about this. If you are a leader, and all of the folks that are on this podcast are leaders, so they've either led because they built a business, or they bought a business, or they joined a business, or they're in a family business or something. Think of the stories that they have. We in our business at STRATA Originals, we're so fascinated by the stories that come out of people, but they never think of their life as a story.
Yeah.
And then when you pull it out of them, they go, I never realized that. Yeah, your perspective, you've been in a family business, your partner passed away, you've moved offices, you went through COVID, all those lessons become lessons that you can share with the world from your perspective. And it's all safe. You'll see that you should never say, well, you should be doing this. No, I will share my experience, which is mine. I own it. And people love that because they learn from stories.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy to do, but you got to practice it, of course.
And it comes from experience. It's not just that, somebody telling a story. It's come from your experiences, and definitely people learn from it. I wish when I started a business, Alan, that, there was somebody who built a technology company, and I had a road to travel. Somebody can say, these are the don't and these are the do's, build a company this way, and I will get there much faster. I will have a lot of shortcuts, get there much faster. But I know a lot of business leaders, we all thought that was possible, but no, that kind of information is never possible, right? So, you have to just figure it out what you're trying to do. But we are in a position now, I think, in this time in technology where we can pass on the information to the next generation. At least they can learn and avoid a lot of mistakes.
And you still can learn from a lot of the people. If you go on YouTube today and type in leadership, that's what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Find hundreds of thousands of videos. And then there's peer groups like Tech and YPO and Vistage and others where CEOs can collaborate, or EO, where I'm a member of YPO for the last 20 years. It's changed my life because why? I can go to a group of people and go, I'm having this problem. They said, well, we've seen it 100 times. Here's the way to do that. Here's how you navigate it. And it's interestingly enough, though, most of the issue is not what we call an IQ issue. It's not that you're not smart enough to figure it out, because you have a blind spot that's not allowing you to see the answer because of, how you're built. So some of your folks, your peers will help you uncover that. And then the answer comes really clearly. So in addition to learning, which you can learn all over YouTube, getting a group of CEOs together and talking about stuff is just the best for me. Anyway, I love that.
Wow, very interesting. So let's talk about personal brand. So I know consistency is definitely as a hard work, but what are the other areas business leaders always hesitant to building the personal brand? There's a lot of benefit to it, and are you seeing this as a part of the business strategy these days, building a personal brand?
105,000,000%. Because think about this. I'll just give you the one example. I've said AI a few times today, but very specifically, think about how content is now going to be developed by computers. You and I are not computers. And we could be avatars. This could be all fake.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if you think of human to human, and you think of how do you connect with people now, this is the way to do that. And it is unfiltered. You are your own media now. You don't have to worry about a blog post that was written by this tool or that tool. It's Alan talking to Gurmeet, and that's not going to change. And that will not change for probably forever as humans, because all AI can do is mimic us.
Yeah.
They really can't replace us, and they can't replace the energy and love that people have that you can feel. And maybe they can fake it in the future, but that's why I think it's important. It becomes more important today because of that technology, but also humans buy from humans. I don't care if you're a business. Inside the business, it's humans talking to humans. There are exceptions to that, of course. I can buy this pen and never speak to a human. Of course, all that stuff is real.
Transactional stuff.
It's all the cheap stuff. But if you're doing anything in consulting or major or a major sale of something that's more than $5,000, you're talking to a human. Even though all of it's wrapped in Spotify and whatever, it doesn't matter. So what we believe is it's very important to do personal branding, but you're not selling ever, 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 ever. So if I'm talking about personal branding, which is my business, I'm not saying to you, you have to do this. I'm saying to you, what we have seen is in our case studies, it is grown businesses. Why? Because it's based on trust.
Wow.
I say to you, I'm giving you what you should be thinking about. And I'm not saying, oh, by the way, my link is right here, go buy my stuff. I'm really giving you the best of my knowledge. Now you have that and you go, you know, this Alan guy, I like Alan, this Alan guy. I want to talk to him. I get leads from people I've never seen before because they look at my video and go, and oh, by the way, what do you think my topic is? You think it's personal branding?
Yeah. You're trying to help out. You're just helping out people before.
Yeah. With leadership. My topic is leadership. I don't sell leadership services.
Yeah.
I can't make a dime off leadership services. But people connect with me because I have experience and credibility, and ergo, then they connect. So the idea is to get out there and recognize that you're not the mouthpiece for your business. You're the mouthpiece for your personal brand, which includes your business, your credibility. So in your case, it's really simple. You help people understand how to buy technology. Not, you can buy it from anybody, but when you're thinking about it, think about it this way. So it's very much like a consultant would do. You're teaching people independent of your business, and then they ascribe, what a good guy, didn't sell me anything. I like the way he comes across. He seems honest. He's got integrity. Then they ascribe all that to your business. What does that do? Sets the table for your sales team when they call and they say, hey, I'm from STRATA Originals. Oh yeah, I saw a video on that guy. Yeah, I'll take your call. So there are layers and layers of layers why it's important to do that for CEOs.
Yeah, I think it all comes from the place in your heart where you want to service first before somebody can buy something, right? You just simply coming from place, you want to help out first.
Givers, right? Givers rule, right? In the world, and givers rule on social media, givers rule in life. And isn't it more fun to also give? You know, it's I do it all the time, and we all connect people, and you offer to connect me to people. That's what good business people do, is they recognize if I give, I will get back tenfold without expectation. I just have to give without expectation.
Yeah.
Good things will happen. And it's the same thing in personal branding. You get out there, you're strategic in what you want to talk about, right? But you're out there consistently, you're trying and you're connecting, and sometimes it could be 50% personal and 50% business. That's okay. Yeah. People are getting to know you.
So where do you cross the line between being professional and having fun on social media? You know, that's there could be some blurry lines. Definitely, if B2B environment, you always professionally trying to get the message across. You talk about, and then on the same social media, you could be having fun with the kids. Do you have to consider those two separately, or have a different channel for different things, or all could be mixed these days?
Well, it really, that's a depends answer. So I'll give you my experience. So what I do is I look at my LinkedIn as a business channel. Nice. Yeah. And that's the thing. But in that, I get people a window into my life. Not I'm taking a picture of myself and my daughter at the Blue Jays game. That doesn't go on LinkedIn for me. But what does go on is I had dinner with 4 of my business colleagues at an Ethiopian restaurant. I took a picture of that. I put it on that. It has 6,000 views and 30 comments. Why? Because they know the other 3 people, because I tagged the other 3 people. And now what happens? The algorithm goes, He's putting out good content. So then when I put my next video out, that's business. So it's always business related, but it gives a window into my world. I could be traveling and I'm in San Francisco and I take a picture of something. Well, I'm on business, but it's Alan on business. And that's how I differentiate. So it's always in that world, but I give people a window into me. Facebook is 90% connections. But what's interesting there is those connections are the same connections I have on LinkedIn because they're friends or business colleagues, but they get to see now the picture of my wife where we celebrate our anniversary, and then they're loving you up there, but they're also remembering, oh, it's Alan, 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 Alan. That's what you do, is you think about marketing and keeping top of mind with people. And then someone says, oh, I need someone in personal branding. You remember Alan because of the fun stuff and because of the business stuff, and you can do it on TikTok, on Instagram, and wherever you want to go. But that's the secret, is really planning that out.
So you could be different, totally different. You can show a different side of you based on what platform you're on, because expectations are different. You know, if I'm, it's the same like if I'm going to church, my expectations are different. Environment is different. People expecting different behavior, right? So if I'm going to a restaurant, it's a different behavior. Same as if I'm going to TikTok, it's about having fun. You know, I'm just maybe a music here and there, but on LinkedIn is different expectation. You just get to be different, mindful of different people and approach it differently.
You got it. And so, but it is a strategic. So I'm very strategic in what I do around those things, because I'm strategic around my personal brand. I'm very intentional in the work that I do. And when I post something that's fun on LinkedIn, there's always a business tie. It could be fun and light and funny, but there's a business tie to it. Facebook, every once in a while, I'll throw in a business podcast that I did because it's me in business. And people that I know are interested in me, so that's okay. And then on Instagram, I may only put quotes that I have. So I may just put quotes because it's a very fast-moving platform and people seem to like that. They don't want long form from me, so that's what I do on Instagram, and I play and I learn. TikTok is more, I'm more of a consumer than a poster on TikTok because my audience is not there yet, but I'm learning a lot about TikTok. So that's a little bit of how you think about it, at least.
Very interesting. So let's talk about business leaders who's definitely looking to scale a company, trying to build. So where does a personal branding fits into business, marketing strategy or business development strategy, whatever you want to call it? What is a personal branding? Does it come before that business strategy, or is it a part of business strategy that, hey, listen, we need to build this part of the business strategy?
I think you have to build it as part of the business strategy for sure. And a lot of times it happens way after, right? Because what are you focused on at the beginning is all the blocking and tackling you have to do to build a business. So that, and you want to do the marketing right, and you want to make sure you have the right team and the right audience and the right ideal client and all the things that you do either with an agency or on your own, however you choose to do that. But this thing that's the untapped world is this personal branding thing that helps you as a CEO. Think about this, for example. If you're a CEO and you built a business, you probably have relationships with people that are a lot more than your business has. Because what does your business have? It has customers.
Yep.
It has prospects. And those are the people that trust you. The people that don't trust you are the people that don't know you. Why? Because you're marketing to them. So when you go on a website and you see something that's really cool, you go, and you get to the price. Oh, they're not honest with me. They said free, but it was really free for a week. It's a bait and switch. So I don't trust businesses that do that. If the dude gets up and starts talking about his business or his offer or whatever it is, and he says, and I'm listening to him or her, doesn't that feel different than going to a website? So just think about it. In your case, you do that with these podcasts. People get to know you, and then I do the same in my world. So to me, I would say that you look at it, but very strategically. So I'll give you an example. So one of our clients is a lawyer. He's an M&A lawyer in St. Louis. His clientele is in New York. He's a specialty in food and beverage. So what is his content? How many times do you know people going through M&A in their life? Maybe once.
Yeah.
Maybe twice, unless they're in
to buying the business. Yeah.
Right? So once or twice. So what his content is, the first video is what you look for in a lawyer when you're about to do an M&A. What trips up a deal in M&A? What are the things you have to watch for? What's the difference between a technical buyer and a strategic buyer? And what do you So is he saying I'm the best at that? He's just saying, let me give you advice that's normally $1,000 an hour for free. And then you're going to say, geez, I love this Bob dude. He's helping me because at some point I want to exit my business. I better start preparing today to have all the right things in place so that when somebody shows up on my door, I'm not going crazy for 4 months trying to pull it all together. That's an example of thought leadership or personal branding, because now people will like Bob and say, he's honest. I like the way he talks. He's helpful. That's the kind of lawyer I want to have.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So whether you're a coach or a lawyer or a speaker or a technology leader, or, I mean, Steve Jobs, what does Steve Jobs do? Now, he was a salesman, but he also was the personal brand of Apple.
Yeah.
He was Apple.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He was Apple. So but again, a little different deal with him, but there are a lot of examples of Richard Branson and Gary Vaynerchuk and others. And Gary Vaynerchuk today, like him or hate him, is helping the world and he's giving away everything. You need to do this. Here's a new TikTok strategy. Here's a new this. Why? Because it helps him overall build his brand. More importantly, if you're going to steal his stuff, you weren't going to be a client anyways.
Yeah.
So why people worry, well, I'm not going to give away all my IP. Yeah, give it away. It doesn't matter. No, they have to be able to implement your idea. Yeah. Most people can't do that well, or they do it already.
Yeah, one is a giving away, and one is building a brand, whether it's personal brand, Alan, and then the second one is to staying relevant and consistent on top of it, so ongoing basis. So it's not only one time you want to do that; it has to be consistent. If you start giving value, you have to be consistent about it. Keep adding value to people's lives.
Yeah, so what we say is that think about it like you're writing a book and say, okay, we've got 12 chapters, which is kind of 12 months in the year, and say, what are the themes of each month that I want to talk about? And then in that, you decide, am I doing a video a week, a video every 2 weeks, or whatever I choose to do? You got to make it match your world, right? Because some people, like, even in my world, this is what I do. I was doing a video a week, and then it got too much for me. So now I backed it off to a video every 2 weeks. And now I can actually do that realistically. And I'm finding I'm not finding that much of a difference. So it's good because I'm doing other things to make sure we're building the brand. But those are that consistency, though. I've got 50 videos I've done this year. So consistency is there because I do it every week and I do them together. I don't do one video and go away. I'll do 6 videos in an hour and I'm done.
Yeah.
2 minutes each, and you go off because you know your content. You're an expert in your business. You're an expert in you. And that's what we do. It's so much fun when you get past the fear. There is fear.
Yeah.
You got to get past it.
So how do you approach that personal branding side of thing, Alan? When you are, when you have a team, let's say you have a sales team, you have a marketing team, you have teams you manage. Now, personal brand is only for CEO. You can talk about that topic all the time, but how about that all the people working in your team as well, their personal brand as well? How do you build that into business strategy and say, listen, do they need to build their brand as well?
Well, you are now describing the biggest untapped opportunity on the planet, and it's called the connected enterprise. And you know how many people are doing it? About 0.
Wow.
Because employees see themselves as employees. And the challenge is each one of them are opportunities to sell the stuff in your business. I don't care if it's a technician who's repairing telephones. They're all opportunities to grow the business. And what does that do for them? The business grows, they grow, right? So, but we've never been able to harness it properly. So my answer to you is this. Every single one of them, to your point, has a personal brand. Everyone. The question is, do they have, and they don't have to do video, they could do videos, right? But at the end of the day, if they're active on LinkedIn and they're not selling, because you get this all the time. I get these requests, and they're always from financial people. And they say, I just want to connect with you. And I test it all the time. I said, so, okay, happy to connect and learn from each other. And then the next email, well, we're tax strategies for CEOs. And I'm going, goodbye. Because you lied to me.
Yeah.
If you were a financial person and you connect with me and say, hey, Alan, I know you get a lot of these because you have a title that says CEO. I'm looking for CEOs. I want to learn from you and grow and build a relationship. And if that was honest, then they would go on and like my content and comment on my content. And then if in 2 years, I don't have a financial advisor anymore, what am I going to do? I love this Rick guy.
Yeah.
He's great. He was honest, and that's what I talk about. He would have built his personal brand in my eyes by celebrating the work that I'm doing. That's prospecting in the digital age, not let me push something to you and come to my conference. That's marketing. That's fine. Do that. But as a personal brand, never sell, just inform and teach. And then people will come to your door because of that. So every one of your employees should be engaged. And at worst, for me, is they're sharing your content when it makes sense.
Yeah, that is definitely untapped opportunity, what you just mentioned. So how do you go about it? How do you encourage people? How do you train them? And how do you get a hold of that they're not saying something that which is not right thing, right? Or that, I think that's what comes from training. You put some do's and don't. But more importantly, how do you motivate your staff to go out and build that content out?
Well, that's the challenge, right? So it's a question of how you build your culture. So let me start on the front end. Remember, their LinkedIn platform is owned by them.
Yep.
So they need to be protected to a certain degree, because you could fire them tomorrow and they have to go find a job. So oftentimes they use that. The CEOs don't use it for job hunting. They use it for personal branding or thought leadership or nurturing relationships, whatever. Yeah. So what I always say with staff is, if you get them on the same page and say, you know what, we're all aligned that this content is valuable for the people in my audience, people I went to school with, ex companies, and it helps me set the table for the work that I do for the business, because it's getting more eyeballs on it. Because guess what? We're not selling. They won't share your latest press release because it doesn't matter to the people in their audience.
Yeah.
But they might share, I don't know, this latest thing that might be maybe a warning about the latest virus that just kicked in that's eating up the data on your phone. Well, that's valuable, and it's coming from you to them, to their audience. And then what does that do? And I don't say to them they do it every day, but once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Think this, you have 200 employees. Each one of those employees has 1,000 people. How many people connect to that over time?
Yeah.
You get to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. And maybe you only find your executive team to do it. You can tell them to do it. So you do the next layer of, here's my 5-person executive team. Then they have 10 managers reporting into them. There's 15 disciples right out of the gate like that.
Yeah, that is
untapped.
That is a huge potential. Definitely, if you can tap into that, I mean, you don't need, that gotta be part of your marketing strategy. If you can get into that, right? So it will expand you.
But unfortunately, it doesn't happen because people, to your point earlier, they get busy and they forget. And so what we do in our world is, I actually have metrics to that. Said, okay, we need to invite so many people to our page. We need to do so many likes every month. We do that. And then I measure it. And so then what measured gets done, right, in life. And that's part of your job, is to do that. And we get them all aligned. And then once they get aligned, they start to do it. And you start to see things start to mushroom. It really is an incredible thing, because the LinkedIn page you have is never as good as the combination of all the employees you have. Never. Because guess what? If I'm your employee, it's Alan, and the 1,000 people know Alan. They don't know you.
Yeah.
That's the difference, is that you're starting with your concentric circle of your relationships, and then you go outside of it. Well, now your businesses take advantage of the people in it. And that's the power. And it's the same power in personal branding, Gurmeet, is that you start with your relationships, and imagine now your team's helping. And your family helps if they're in business, because that helps too. And then that people you went to school with, and people you used to work with, and people you played softball with, and people you played hockey with. And now you look at what's happened. Because the crazy thing, and I don't know if you've heard of this before, I'll share this LinkedIn statistic.
Yeah.
99-1.
99-1.
9-1. 90% of the people on social media are voyeurs. They view your content and they hit and run, and they don't say a thing. All they show up is as a video of you or opposed to you.
Okay.
9% engage. Hey, great comment, good post, like, and 1%. You and I are in the 1%. They're creators. That's it.
Wow.
So personal brand, you want to be a creator, you're now better, not better than, but you're more opportunity than 99% of the people that are out there. And here's the fun part. That little 90% that's there, they're watching your stuff. Why? Because when I go to an event at YPO, I get, Mr. LinkedIn, oh, you're all over LinkedIn. I'm saying, well, how come I don't see you on, wow, I love your stuff. And then they don't, I said, can you at least give me a like or a share or something? Yeah. And they never do it. Then I see them the next time and they go, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. Human nature is they're moving fast. They see the video, they don't care really to do the like or share, but just think about that. You are still impacting people and you don't even know it. And that's pretty enlightening when you think about it.
Yeah, no, it's I have a personal story towards, about a year ago when I got into podcasting, I simply decided, hey, listen, we need to build a video strategy because there's no person to person, discussions anymore. So I told my customer service people, guys as well, hey guys, if you need to, write email more than 4 lines, it better be a video. You don't want to explain more than 4 lines. You just put a video in and just send it to the customers, right? And I send a lot of videos out to my customers, to my clients on a daily basis. And I was doing it for 6 months, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call, and somebody said, "You explained this soft costs in a business when it comes to technology, and you deleted the video. Could you send me the video again?" So and I thought, well, somebody's watching the content I'm sending out. It kind of encourages you to send more because people are watching. I think to your point, they are paying attention to what you're sending out.
And again, back to your point, right? It's a human talking to a human, explaining something complex. Because if you think about it, the same thing that I talked about in the 99.1 is because people are busy. The same thing happens with email. Well, that's not part of that. But what happens? Have you noticed that people take 3 and 4 days to get back to you on email? It used to be more instant. It's because they have 300 and 400 and they're dealing with the most important ones, and they try to catch up at some point, and maybe on a Saturday they'll get back to you. Well, if you send a video in an email embedded, you're different than everybody else.
Yeah.
They're going to be curious. Why did you send me a video? And then you get a chance to cut through the noise. So you've already figured that out. And
I sent too many of those, maybe.
Well, you don't send the same person all the time, but if you send it to 100 people, it's 100 different people. It's you've taken the time to talk to me.
Yeah.
It's not a generic one where you're sending it to 100 people. That shows up.
Yeah.
It's me talking to Sally or to Bill or to whatever. Hey, listen, Bill, I was just thinking about something with our blah, blah, blah. You asked a question of our customer service people. I wanted to respond directly to you.
Yeah.
That's magic. That's what I'm talking about.
And you have a chance to, on a human level, look people in the eye and say what you want to say, and you can squeeze a lot in a video than you would do that in an email, right? So it's I think it's a lot more personal than simply just typing a few bullet point on an email and trying to send it to that and left for interpretation.
And how many times have we typed emails, all of us, because we're maybe a little angry or frustrated with the customer, and it comes out in the tone.
Yeah.
But I can't fake tone here.
Yeah.
I can't fake, I'm trying to be enthusiastic. I'm either enthusiastic or I'm not. And you can see through if it's not real.
Yeah.
But you can also see through the authenticity and the desire to help and the desire to explain. That's why there's so much power in this tool.
Wow. And is there a chance personal brand can even take a bigger seat from a business branding? You think it can even be the factor if you look at a few years down the road, would it take a front seat?
Well, that's hard to know, right? I think but I'll say this doesn't replace the marketing you do for your business, right? All the digital marketing and landing pages and website, you need to do that because that has to be right. Because marketing is not a bad thing. It's what I do every day. So you have to do that right.
It's the best thing for the business. That's how you get the word out. Tell people what do you do?
Now you're adding an element that's going to differentiate you from every of your competitors, right? Who are not doing that, right? Or they're doing it with a very overt strategy. Like I've been on some podcasts where the first 10 minutes was the guy selling everything he does before he talked to me. I'm going, I have this book, I have this, we have the consulting, and I'm on the call going, why am I here? You're just using me to get to my audience.
Yeah.
That's not fair. What's fair is I come and help your audience, and that helps my audience, and hopefully everybody wins. And if people do business because of me or because of you, that's beautiful, because your audience needs hopefully good information, which is what you deliver. And we all want to do the right thing. But I'm not here to say, well, you need to buy my services. No, if you don't buy it, hopefully you've learned something.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But answer your question specifically, I think, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, was, to humanize the business really matters. And I think as all of the businesses are getting more automated, I mean, you think about Google. Can you talk to anybody at Google? Pretty hard, right?
Very hard, yeah.
Facebook, pretty hard. But and those are behemoths. So I get that they have to work. But most of us aren't going to be running unicorns, right? We're going to be running businesses that are 20 people, 30, 100 people, whatever they are. We have the opportunity to remember the old days when you used to call and actually have a reception answer the phone receptionist.
Yeah.
Like those days are gone, but they're really helpful because you get to talk to a human and not go to 7 and then go to 3 more and go to 4 more. And well, this personal branding allows you to now, as the CEO, as the leader, as the founder, just connect directly with your audience so you can get a real feel for the culture and the leader behind the business, because most of it is website with a picture and a bio. That's the CEO. Well, not in our business. In our business, it's me, my business partner, Leanne, and we're out there. You either like us or you don't. If you don't like us, that's okay. But we are out there for you to see us, because when you work with us, guess what? It's us again.
Yeah. We run a technology company, and it's very easy to hide behind the tools and technology and all the stuff. And term we use is P2P. I tell my staff all the time, hey, listen, we're in a P2P business, so it doesn't really matter what technology company you run. End of the day, it's people need help, people working with the people. End of the day, so I think there's a human connection. To your point, well taken from you when you mentioned earlier. Is going to get more important than going forward with all the tools and technology, because that's what's going to be lacking. I think that's where this podcast comes in. That's where this connection comes in, as you just mentioned, that piece is going to become more important no matter what technology comes in, AI or whatever technology comes out.
100%. And you're still going to be differentiating even 5 years from now, because most people know they should do it, but they're either afraid to do it, or they don't know how to do it. Right? Because, and I will tell you this, a little caution, right? Your marketing team may say, we can do this for you. Just be careful that it doesn't become an extension of the marketing team, because it's not. Personal branding is not marketing. I want to be very clear on that. It's adjacent. It supports it, but doesn't sell it, right? Because that's different. Because otherwise I'd be going, well, and my program is X amount per month, and you just have to do this today. No,
it's different.
That's different. But there's a fine line, right? Because people think, well, it's just another way to market my business. And listen, some people, I would rather you do that and market your business overtly, but be the face of it, than not do it at all. Yeah. But what works is allowing people an invitation into your business, as opposed to you pushing your message out to them. A little bit of a different feel. And don't people want to do business with people they like?
Of course. Yeah, I think it's part of the business, marketing strategy, but it's definitely it's a part of it. You can't just depend on it. It's not gonna, do all this work we're trying to do. So how did you get in? Talk about your journey, Alan. How did you get so good at this marketing? And what inspired you to start building a marketing company and then helping people with the personal branding?
Well, it's a story that's not as clear as you might think, but I'll start from how I became a marketer. So way back when I did market, I was working for Canon photocopiers. I learned sales on the street. I learned how to sell business to business, selling photocopiers, great training ground. And I became part of their marketing team. And then I ran their marketing, then I ran their training. And then I got into CEO life, which you're always involved in marketing, but not, directly. And then my business partner and I, Leanne, we met at an IT security firm. Long story short, after we had our run there, she turns to me and said, what are we going to do now? I said, what do you mean we? I'm going to get a job as a CEO somewhere. We'll be friends for life. She says, why don't we start an agency? I said, why would we do that? She says, well, you're a smart executive and I'm a really good PR person, and let's combine forces and start a business. That was it. No capital, 2 computers and that was 18 years ago. And so what we've done is we've evolved the business, right? Through some great successes and some great creators. One of the creators was COVID, and that caused us to move directions. And I'll tell you what we did very specifically, and hopefully it's a good lesson for all the folks that are listening. We recognized prior to COVID that as a marketing agency, a boutique agency, and by the way, we stayed boutique for a reason, because what we didn't want was the old bait and switch where you see the big guy and gal who knows what they're doing and then they hand you over all the juniors. We didn't want that to be. So we wanted to be involved in the clients all the time. So we had to stay at a certain size, which gave us enough lifestyle to live what we wanted to live. Yeah. But what I started to notice about a year ago was clients would stay with us for a year, maybe 2, and then they take it inside their walls because we taught them how to do it. Yeah. And because they're small enough, they fought. So we're losing clients who love us. Doesn't make sense. So I started to realize, and then seeing AI kick in, I'm going, there's somebody knocking on our door and he's a big giant about to squash us. So I said, we need to look for a white space. And we've been doing personal branding kind of on and off for a while, but in COVID, we turned that on and turned it into such an exciting program, to be honest with you. I hope I'm not selling, but I'm very passionate about it. Yeah. But we built an outsource model essentially that helps CEOs understand what their story is. More importantly, we take care of everything for them. So we say to them, you just give us the money based on the program and go be a CEO. We're going to tell you when to be where, what to do, how to coach you. We're going to teach you on storytelling. We're going to show you how to do the videos, and we're going to record them all. And we're going to be you on social media. So go do your work. Give us 2 hours a month. We take care of everything. That has really worked well, because the issue with number 1 was I don't know what to do. Number 2 is I don't have time to do it.
Well, time is the biggest thing.
We've seen both of those problems. So that's what we did.
Business leaders, I know one thing they're up against is the time. And nobody has enough hours in a day, and definitely there's more priorities comes in, and that's where the consistency fall off the chart, right? So timing is, I think, somebody like you helping out business leaders, and when they're short on a time, that's a great help to business leaders. And I think more importantly, one thing we didn't touch on, Alan, is that there's a lot of blind spot. We all technical people. We were very good at some trade, and we built the companies afterwards. So we are very technical people. We are so focused on that, trying to grow a company. There's going to be a lot of blind spot. We always going to need somebody like you. You may be overlooking this, maybe you're not looking into this. So you always need those experts around you to help you, navigate those blind spot and help you to get where you want to get to, instead of you spending time and not getting there.
Well, it's the same. If I were to use the same metaphor with your business, right? Everybody says, well, I understand technology. Well, there's a lot of subtleties to implementing technology efficiently and effectively, right? So in my world, if you want to learn on your own, more power to you. Our mission is to inspire leaders. That's our mission. Inspire you to get out there. That's the first mission. If you can't do it on your own, then companies like us exist to do that. But the most important thing is we're business people first, Gurmeet. We understand marketing, but we're business people first, so we can talk to CEOs. We're not, with respect to a young kid who knows all what we know on the back end of YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. But we have a conversation with a CEO who's afraid, who doesn't want to do it. Well, because we have a little gray hair, we've been there. I've run 5 businesses. I get where you are. So we can have those conversations with them to make them feel comfortable, to get them over the line. And once they're over the line, then we can shortcut a lot of the success that they wouldn't have had, because it would have taken them 2 years we can get them there in a year, because we know that's a mistake. You shouldn't be doing that. Don't talk to this person. And then, so you're right, it all works the same, but our businesses are aligned that way. That's what good consultants do, is they help you get to success or to the KPIs faster. And that's what we love doing. It's just so much fun.
Well, we can also draw from your experience as well, Alan, that you are building your company as well. You're going through the similar challenges that any other business will be going through it, right? So whatever you preaching, you're also doing it in your site as well, right? So we can also draw from that lessons you learn and draw the experience and move a little faster, instead of trying to fix a problem one at a time and trying to make slow progress.
One of our clients has this wonderful saying. He says, you cannot see the label from inside the jar.
Yeah.
So, all of us are in that place. Like I have external help as well. People saying to me, have you thought of this and have you thought of that? And listen, I'm obsessed about what we're doing because I'm excited about it because I see the difference it makes. But I can't see everything.
Yeah.
And the same in your business, right? That's why you hire amazing people or you expose yourself to wonderful humans around you who want your best. So I know that, okay, eventually I have to start outsourcing to parts of the world for this because I can't scale a business just by adding people. I've got to add technology. I've got to add AI. I've got to add all kinds of things that never impact the human experience, but impact the productivity and the project management and all the things that make it feel really seamless. It's seamless to our client, but we're working our butts off behind the scenes to make sure that everything's scheduled and recorded properly and edited properly and all that stuff is done. That's what all companies do, but the customer should always feel delighted with the service.
Yeah.
And that's our job to do that. And it's all the things that you mentioned. So really important.
Yeah, it's a narrow focus, what I call it. I'm good at technology. I'm building a business, but I'm not going to be good at everything, right? So I get a narrow focus, what I'm trying to achieve. And have a limited time. So if I need help with the CFO, I need to rely on my CFO. If I need help in a marketing, I need to rely on a marketing person. Or if I need the help from somebody in a purchasing or HR, I need those experts around me. I can't be good at everything. I just got a narrow focus. I know technology. I know how to grow a business. So I'm focused on that. So that's where I think it's very important to have those experts around you. So, you can get there much faster.
I'll also say this to compliment you as well. As a technologist, very few people want to get out there. And you chose to get out there. So you chose to flex a muscle that you didn't have because you recognize that would differentiate your business from the rest who are just head down working on technology. Well, technology doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Listens, true or false. Those are the only two comes out of it. Either works, it doesn't work.
So at the end of the day, you only buy technology because if I want to build this, it's the stuff but I need to drink water. That's what this glass does.
Yeah.
If I have it more fancy, it's because now it's art, right? If I do it, for collecting, then it's a different thing. Well, technology allows us to get the output we want. And that's what you do. Well, I do it and I use technology, but I do it from a human point of view to showcase the human part of that person or that business. We use technology to get us there because it's faster.
Yeah, it's just the tools. These are just the tools these days. But it doesn't replace the human side of things, right? So very interesting. Hey, I learned so much from our discussion. I'm sure our business leader watching, I encourage everybody to reach out to you and have a discussion. There's so many blind spots. I'm always looking for help. Get help from somebody. Have a discussion with you, and get there much faster. Instead of you trying a trial and error kind of approach that you make a mistake and learn from it. Talk to experts. They can get you there much faster. Absolutely. Where can if somebody wants to connect with you, Alan? Where can they find you? How can they connect with you?
So probably the best thing is if you want to learn more about personal branding, go to strataoriginals.com. If you want to connect with me directly, and it's Alan, ALAN, at strataoriginals.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just type in Alan McLaren and tell me you heard the podcast and you'd like to connect, and I'm happy to do that. And if you're interested in finding out more, and I don't want to sell, we will talk to people for free. I mean, there's no cost to calling us and saying, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? So we're happy to help because, again, our purpose is inspiring leaders. If I can inspire you to do it, then that's a win for me. And if you happen to use us, that's another win. So just reach out and we're happy to help and give you more information on what we do.
I'm going to include all those links below the video as well. And then somebody can just click a button, they can reach out to you. But I encourage all business leaders watching or listening, reach out to you for conversation. I learned so much. I'm sure whoever is reach out to you, they're going to take a lot of value, they're going to take a lot of information from you, and they can grow the businesses. Hey, I want to acknowledge you. Thank you so much for time. I learned so much. I enjoy our discussion and I look forward to the future discussion sometime.
I just want to add one more quick thing.
Go for it.
You found me because I was out there on social media.
Yeah.
So what happens is if I was not out there, Gurmeet wouldn't have found me. We wouldn't have had this conversation. So to encourage you all to be out there, stuff happens when you're out there.
I want to take that to next one item before. No, I've been doing the YouTube videos, and recently I started looking for business I could buy.
Yeah.
Company I was buying, and they saw my name, who's going to put a bid on, and They simply said, hey, if you take over company, can we use your social media for this company as well? And I was like, wow, you guys are already doing your homework before I even talk to you. So
exactly what I'm talking about, right? There was an absolute business reason. So what could come out of this? We don't know.
yeah,
Business, we don't know, but we're doing things. And what that example of YouTube was, what I said at the beginning, it has direct business results if you're out there. If you're waiting for people to show up on your door and knock on your door, no. Digital is communication on scale. That's what it is.
and it's company agnostic. You could be working this company, another company. So that's what it clicked on me. It dawned on me. So listen, this is company agnostic. I'm running a one business I'm trying to build, and I'm doing all the work. The company I haven't even purchased, I haven't put a bid on, and that company is thinking about it. Can we use some of that audience or some of that connections from that? I thought it was win. But you proved the point, because that's how this whole thing works.
It does. That's exactly how it works, and it's not linear. That's the thing. The digital's not linear, right?
Yeah.
Digital's not linear, but it'll come from places you don't expect if you're out there.
Yeah.
But if you're not out there, no one's showing up. That's the point.
Hopefully, we encourage some business leader to start doing some of the podcasts or writing a books. Get the content out.
I really enjoyed this chat. Thanks for reaching out.
Thanks, Alan.